Ranked is back in World of Warships Legends as of I think yesterday, April 28th, and this season is a 5v5 Tier 7 format, which gives me the opportunity to play one of my favorite ships in the game, also a ship that I think is excellent for a Tier 7 5v5 ranked format. That, of course, is HMS Rodney, the sister ship to HMS Nelson, only it has a little bit more armor, which massively increases the tankiness alongside the super heal. And then it's got so much offensive capability between the AP that enjoys the Russian dispersion parameters, the HE, which is devastating and lights a lot of fires, and of course the two bow launched torpedoes that do nearly 30,000 damage apiece. This match that you're about to see, and I've got two of them for you from my ranked session last night. This was my favorite match that I played during the session. The second one is the highest damage I've gotten so far, and I managed to get up to rank 4 before I had to stop playing, so I assume I'll be able to easily rank out. There were some frustrations, of course, as there always are in ranked. Lots of blue teams doing questionable things. Lost a couple times, but certainly won more than I lost. And this battle, if I recall correctly, is going to be a glorious victory where we get to do my absolute favorite thing with HMS Rodney. So you see, we've got about 3 out of 5 of our ships heading into the Bravo cap, 2 battleships, a cruiser. Then we've got our destroyer inside of Alpha contesting it with the enemy destroyer, which I believe is USS Black. I don't know exactly what our destroyer is, but of course Black has radar, which could be a problem for that guy, especially if he's not a Black himself, which he obviously isn't. You can see his deep water torpedoes. In fact, I think he's a Xianyang. I don't know if he's running radar. I believe the Xianyang can run radar or smoke. Certainly the higher tier Pan-Asian destroyers can. I don't remember what happens with him either, but we've got Catalunya out here playing fun games about how much broadside can I give to HMS Rodney before the match ends and I've got to go back to port. Well, he can give broadside to us for at least the span of one salvo and get away with only an overpen. Can he do that more than once, though? Guns are about fully reloaded. Another nice thing about Rodney is when you run the reload mod, the reload's about 22 seconds. And if you've got John Fisher at the helm like I do, there goes Catalunya, by the way, for first blood. If you got John Fisher like I do, he's got a special skill that buffs the reload time and the turret traverse as you lose HP. So we should get more DPM as this battle goes on. Suo out there is a bit of a concern. One thing that I don't think maybe enough ranked players think about is crossfires. Creating those with battleships, it's a lot more iffy. You see, we've got Flandre and this other guy here. We can just sort of point our bows at them and not be worried about catastrophic damage because neither of them have the broadside. But if Suo goes forward, he could have our broadside, and that could be disastrous for us. So I was thinking at the time, because of his position, what we need to do is get these two battleships off the board as quickly as possible. We already hit Flandre with the torpedo. Xianyang hit that other guy. We take him out. There's another torpedo against Flandre as we experience a terrible lag spike, which happened a couple times when I was playing ranked last night. Torpedo completely misses, gets eaten up by the lag spike. I don't know what happened there. Very frustrating, but Flandre gets away unscathed. Suo does come out from behind that rock and I think hits our citadel with his main battery guns, which is not great. Flandre, we don't quite send him back to port, although he is burning, I believe, from the single fire that one of our secondaries lit. We haven't shot HE once in this battle, and I don't think we will. There goes Flandre to the secondary fire, just basically a stroke of luck there. That's 3 kills. If the Suo were more broadside and we could get a good shot on him, maybe this could be all 5 kills for this game. I don't know. Not quite, though. We're not going to get Suo. He's just improperly angled for our AP to deal its maximum effective damage. And it seems like our 3 remaining teammates are going to chew him up pretty quickly and send him back to port. Was trying to see, since USS Black is concealed in the smoke screen, can I get my guns turned around and get a shot on Suwo? Definitely not. One torpedo going in toward USS Black. He's no longer in that part of the smoke screen, though. I think what he's doing is sailing around to get away on the other side of the island. He knows my last known spotted location, and he could see what direction I was pointed in, so I'm sure he's going to anticipate that I'm going to be coming around this corner of the island as well. We've got enough HP to maybe take one torpedo hit. We don't have the HE loaded, though, which is perhaps a mistake. The HE is very devastating to destroyers in Rodney, but you know what else is? These bow-launched torpedoes. You don't want to do this. You don't want to come around a corner like this and try to get your own torpedoes on Rodney. You're going to get hit first. Devastating strike against the USS Black with that torpedo. Nothing could be more satisfying than hitting a destroyer with a torpedo, a single torpedo from a battleship. We win the battle, of course, 2,300 XP, 4 out of 5 kills in that match. I think this was the last one I played before I had to shut the game off for a night. You know, end on a high note. This battle here happened a little bit before that one, and this one has a lot more damage done. I don't even think we cracked 100k there, but we will in this battle. So we spawn between these caps here. I guess we're going to go off to Charlie. I think in these 5v5 ranks, you probably don't want to put all of your ships all together on the map. You maybe want to split your forces. And I don't remember if the blue team does that here or not. But here is the rare HMS Rodney on the red team that I found during ranked. Some people, I think, have a good notion of what ships to play. Again, I would highly recommend this one. I think it's got all the offensive capability you need. Just doesn't have a bunch of secondaries like some of the German battleships, and it doesn't have more than the 2 torpedoes, but those 2 torpedoes are devastating. We hit Rodney with the Citadel. You certainly don't want to be giving any kind of flat angles with this thing. You'll get punished very easily. And Haida, who I assume is running the zombie build with Hector Waller and is probably going to be pretty effective, is moving in toward the Charlie cap, which is turning red because the enemy destroyer is in it. And there it is, the ZF-6. Maybe not the most threatening destroyer in the world, although it is a very good one, in my opinion. It's got excellent guns, decent torpedo power, but he's going to take himself behind that rock. And as long as we keep in mind that torpedoes might be coming from that direction, we can probably keep ourselves safe. Rodney out there has taken a lot of punishment from the rest of our team, I guess. We completely miss him there with a bum salvo. Unfortunate. Haida gets hit with a couple torpedoes. Not great. He's still alive, though, and Rodney goes down, not to our main battery, but somebody else. It's the first kill of the game, I think, although we lose a blue battleship in the process. And normally, I don't think this is like the best idea here. We're pushing in to this cap, which is occupied by the ZF-6, along with this battleship in front of us. It's going to mean that we don't have any crossfires, but okay, we're not going to do that. Why not? Well, we see Veneto over there. Veneto, even in spite of the ZF-6 being a destroyer and therefore the most influential class in the game, Veneto is the one that's going to cause things to go south for the blue team if we allow him to continue. Thankfully, he's broadside to us. We hit him for 3 citadels, take him down to nearly no HP. But the reason we need to focus so heavily on him is take note of his position in comparison to his 2 battleship teammates, which are still north of the Charlie cap. At some point, if we allow him to progress down into Bravo and get a position over there, he's going to be able to catch us in a crossfire between himself and those 2 battleships. That's why he is the most important target to focus right now. That and the fact that he's inside the Bravo cap, more than halfway done toward flipping it, and if he does that, well, then the enemy team are going to have 2 caps, which is going to give them an advantage. Friendly battleship pulling out here. I think Veneto is still safe behind this island. He's not going to come out. Torpedo didn't actually end up catching him there. And this friendly battleship is spotted. If he pushes in here, he's going to find himself in exactly the situation I was worried about, which is being crossfired by this Iowa, this other battleship, and then this Veneto. This is exactly why we're so focused on him, and I think this friendly battleship might find out exactly why we're so worried about Veneto. Let's see here. Looks like he is going to go forward. We'll put another torpedo in the water. These things reload in about every 40 seconds, I think. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but they're on cooldown when you need them. Veneto's coming around. Not quite broadside enough to us. The AP is not able to pen the armor. A lot of ricochets there, but 8 shells out of 9. That's a pretty good hit ratio. And just like I thought, that blue battleship, caught in the crossfire, is on his way back to port. We're in a bit of a sticky situation too, since the Veneto didn't go down. I think those 2 red battleships are probably distracted by our 2 blue teammates, so we should be okay to get out here and eliminate Veneto completely. That's got to be done if we want to turn our attention back to those 2 battleships. And it's an even 3v3 right now, so it could go either way. I think we have to make the right choices here. We miss with a torpedo against Veneto, but the second one finds its mark. No chance for him. These are nuclear-tipped torpedoes, more or less. And so he goes down. 100,000 damage done. Battleship that pushed in here into the crossfire also goes down. And somebody manages to take out the last remaining battleship, leaving just me left alive. But there's no chance now that Iowa was broadside to me and took that salvo. With 8 shells, 7 of which were full pens, and then, well, a Citadel to boot. Well, there's no chance that these guys have any ability to win. At least I don't think so. This Iowa is a one-shot kill at this point. I haven't seen the HP of the other battleship, but we've still got all of our heals. We are essentially full HP. So it's just going to be a contest of who is going to whittle the other one down first if that guy's on full HP. And I think if we just push into him, well, then he's going to have to eat a couple of torpedoes. 142,000 damage done now for the moment of truth when we finally spot this last remaining enemy. And it turns out he's got absolutely no HP. He's also a Nebraska. So, of course, all his guns are on the front. He's a hybrid. He's got those planes. But with that kind of HP and that kind of gigantic flight deck in the middle to the rear of your ship, well, that thing just eats pens. There's not really going to be any bow-tanking HMS Rodney here. Not inside 7 kilometers, where the accuracy sometimes becomes pinpoint. And there goes Nebraska. We win the battle with, I think, about 150,000 damage done. I think this was the highest damage amount I've gotten so far in this battle. Oh, okay. We've reached the same rank as the other one. This might have been around the time when I was losing, but this battle was a glorious victory. I think it happened before the first one in this video. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this look at Rodney in Ranked. I'd suggest playing the ship yourself over any of the German battleships with secondaries and torpedoes. Rodney is just so fun. And I love the ship. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.